It's going to try its best to win that fight. I don't think it will. I think it's going to have a lot of trouble versing the Pershing. We have an airstrike coming in. Hello everyone, this is Greyshot17 here, bringing you another COH2 replay. This is a 3v3 on Edelbrook Station, and yeah, we currently have an interesting group. So we have 151, GTA, and Delta. Yes, I know these people, but I will be honest, I was not submitted a replay by them. Someone on the other team submitted a replay, and I'll be honest about that. I'll say it right up front. Anyway, we got a rather splendid Cromwell, Spartycus, and Manolo versing them. Double check the play time. Well, these guys all have no lives, so, you know, just point that out. But these guys as well have put in quite a bit of time to co, so good job there. Let's see, 2 OKW and a Vermont versus a full ally team. I am on the channel a bit. 117 is the main guy, just his brother. Yeah, he's on the channel sometimes. Again, you guys have checked out 151 before with Ruse content, his awesome series on what if history, etc. But in any case, make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you submit any replay, play of the week, or challenge idea to greyshotproductions@gmail.com, or put it down in the comments down below, and I will take it. Not GTA, Delta, does incorrect. You are definitely not horny. Unfortunately, as far as I know, you can't really bring it up to that level. So a lot of people are complaining about that. But I'm sure one day you'll be able to hit that level. But unfortunately, just not the case. Apparently, not the case. No, I can say that about him because literally I've known Delta for like 6 or 7 years, and I can tell for a fact he is impotent. But in any case, let's move on. Storm Pioneer's waiting, so yeah. Oh, he was trying to ambush, but I got out-ambushed by GTA, who went with Rangers with Heavy Cav Company and the Pershing focus of that. Let's see, nothing else over here. My brother could go numerous things, though I'm hoping for B4. We have Spartycus going Spearhead, so a lot of good support abilities plus the Tiger. And we have First from Doctrine, anti-infantry focus, which is actually pretty good in this scenario. The reason I say that is simply because of the fact that the anti-infantry capabilities in these close quarters, when you're fighting most infantry, will be pretty good. The Germans did close off this area, allowing for them to hold on to this victory point and keep the Allies at bay, though they have a mortar over here, they have an MG, so my brother, AK-151, is going to be slightly delayed in that sector. Pioneers coming in for the flank, could do some damage, or could be outshot by the conscripts, we will see. Meanwhile, again, we have GTA in mid, locking this area down, putting some nice cover. I'm not seeing a lot of German forces in the region, so most likely they're just lying in wait while the Allies are taking over the 2 VP points on left. Overall, though, resources is pretty even across the board. Again, the VP points kind of cut this map in half, and the rest of them are on the other side. So we'll see how things go. Pioneer squad in the building, but they can't breach or do anything. They'll definitely do damage against these engineer squads, but they're not going to be all that effective. Luckily, 151 did get a flamethrower to burn them out. So good job there. Well, actually, Pioneer squad might die on the retreat from the conscripts and everything else firing at them. Grenadier squad might be coming in to save them. MG is focusing on them rather than the Pioneer squad, and it actually lives and pulls out of the region. MG opening fire, suppressing this, allowing the MG to move on up. The Grenadiers to move up on the MG. They might be able to get a rifle grenade. They're about to get the bonus. I think he's about to do it, if I would assume. Good job, Spartycus. Should be able to get a squad wipe. Nice squad wipe, knocks him out. And still, Allied forces trying desperately to hold on, but I think the Germans will win that quite handedly. German forces pushing in. So many men in that building. So many men inside that building opening fire, but again, most of them are medium to short range, while most of the Allied forces on both sides are medium to longer range in their firepower, so these guys will have to pull on back. Good defensive play by both GTA and Delta, which, once again, very nice job there. Now we have an AT gun moving on in. He has upgraded his base, but no additional upgrades for like Bofors or anything like that for additional defense. First one trying to come in to burn him, but the Vickers machine gun is doing a pretty damn good job of holding him back. Looks like GTA is moving his forces in. Wow, in mass. Again, remember that his ability is smoke. So he allows the off-map to come in and just do an incredible amount of cover and just screen protection to allow him to move on in and just overwhelm these MGs and mortars that are set up. Now he should be able to take this out. He's also putting up tank traps to maybe close off certain areas for him to hold it. Rather splitted Cromwell, which is funny because, again, he's German, went with a fortifications focus doctrine, which, again, fine. That's totally fine. Again, in this map, it's really good. Delta's probably questioning because he's not really fighting much, but these guys are more focused on the other fronts. Although I will say Spartycus did fall back because of GTA's counterattack. 151 is slowly regaining his army, but it's going to be a little bit of time as, well, he doesn't really have all that much currently. But lots and lots of infantry right there. Oh, he walked right into that grenade. Good place, Spartycus. Very nice job. Meanwhile, GTA's forces are falling back. He did actually technically give the Germans some cover, so yeah, it's blocked off, but the other side's already blocked off, so I'm not entirely sure how effective that is. Anyway, it looks like actually a push on left is not working. The British infantry are in cover and just murdering the Volk squads and quickly pushing them back. Although incendiary grenade is going on the MG, causing massive amount of damage to its health, not models. Models are all 4 alive, but they're gravely ill and need some health packs or med kits because otherwise they will die from another attack. Luckily, the British are providing that with their ability when they upgraded. Pioneer squads are taking over the building. My brother's back on defense again, although the mortar is still active, and I'm assuming counteracting this mortar, and the MG is still alive and most likely can probably, I assume, counteract all of these forces, though I do find it funny that he actually has my brother's Maxim back here, while his MG is just guarding mid. I'm assuming we might see another counterattack by German forces in mid, and we don't have any MGs or anything, so that can be pretty effective. Still no, we have 1 cache on the Allied side, which is helping them out a little bit. Again, slowly but surely, the Axis will need to put caches down. I know it's a little bit harder with 1 gentleman on caches, but to support his team, he will probably need to do that, so we'll see. Although, unfortunately, with taking losses, that won't help. He lost his Panzer Grenadier squad to the captain. He might be able to kill... Oh, no, ran the wrong way. If they would have ran this way, he probably would have killed it. He ran the other way, so wasn't able to chase it. Anyway, once again, Delta's on defense, laying down a bunch of barbed wire and mines to stop any Axis push. MG34 suppressing, but the Vickers should put an end to that. Although Incendiary putting an end to them, so they will have to reposition, allowing the MG34 to have supremacy for a short period of time. Don't know for how long until reinforcements come up. I do find it funny he has so many Sturm Pioneers. I'm curious as to why. You figure if he's going to be fighting a long-range fight that he would want to probably go with support guns, Volk squads, Obersoldaten, not Sturm Pioneers. But, this is close quarters map. Maybe he'll get lucky. Fighting position still holding in mid, but looks like we have artillery fire coming into that sector, and it's the double support gun that Manolo has. Again, could very easily kill that with a couple hits, as well as push back this equipment. So it looks like the Allies in general are pulling back, though. It looks like 151 got minesweepers and is clearing this off, while the Germans will be kind of focused. Will have to focus on killing that with with explosives or maybe a tank or something along those lines to really put an end to that. Meanwhile, again, like I said, just a ton of Allied players just trying to hold their line. Lots of flamethrowers right here. I love this. Just trying to burn away a lot of the Allied players over here with the Sturms. Again, could very quickly kill the rear echelon squads. I would do so just out of spite. I know he's trying to kill the AT gun, but I would absolutely kill this stuff and maybe even focus fire on that. He did kill the AT gun. Now focus fire on the unit in the building. Or kill the infantry on the ground. That's fine too. At least you're in cover, so that's actually providing you some support. Oh my god, kill the squad, kill the squad. Oh, okay, you did kill the rifleman, so that's good. So close killing that squad. Even, I know rear echelons aren't the biggest deal, but hot damn. Now, this guy, it makes sense why he went Sturm Pioneers, because he has such high attack power with those flamethrowers that literally the entire American force just got annihilated. Plus, my brother's reinforcements are also being annihilated. So that is horrifying for the Allies to lose so many men to so few. Not looking good, not looking good. Manolo, by the way, tons of manpower. I could easily see him either deploying more units or quickly upgrading his men and getting a bunch of additional bonus weapons like for AT guns, machine guns, etc. to hold his position. I do think he does need that. He is also putting some cover here to make sure the Allies can't use it. Meanwhile, we have Spartycus taking this location. And actually surprising, because of the giant push caused by Bonolo, it seems like this player was able to push up on Delta's side. And now, if used correctly, could use... I mean, he's about to walk over that mine. I wouldn't be there. I would move up to this cover here because it's green and it's heavier cover. But I would use this entire defensive line as cover. So good counterattack by the Axis. Now, will the Allies be able to do something about it? We will see. GTA has Rangers they just deployed, so they're very good close range. And as we see, they're getting Thompsons. That could be a good counter to the Stern Pioneers. We also have 151, who is yet to upgrade his base, yet has the resources for it. Delta has upgraded his base, and he's also building a forward base closer up here to heal his men up on the front, most likely keeping his men in combat. He also went with the advanced emplacement regiment, so this is similar to the fortifications, except it does have a couple counters. If the enemy is in range, you can also use a counter artillery barrage to knock out enemy artillery, which could be good against the mortars, all the way to heavy artillery that Cromwell could deploy, as well as direct strikes. It's a good counter to emplacements and a really good use of emplacements, which is why I like this. Oh, sorry, I really like the advanced emplacement doctrine. Meanwhile, again, we do have the mortar half-track here, so any emplacements set down or any mortars set up by 151 would be at risk of being hit by a flame. He did go B4, by the way, so counterattack tactics has the B4, shock troops, etc. We'll see if he deploys them or what he does. He did get the lighter armor of the Soviet forces. Will he get the heavier armor? We shall see. Meanwhile, support guns are opening fire. We have a flak emplacement there, most likely to stop Axis or Allied incursions. Mortar fire, support gun fire coming in. Grenadiers doing a damn good job of trying to hold back a lot of riflemen that should be able to win those fights, but he's in a really good cover and getting some really good hits with his rifle grenades. You know, a mortar half-track just firing left and right, though I think a fire attack here would be beneficial for everyone. Delta coming back with a lot of really upgraded infantry with both Bren's and the 5-man squads. Volk squads barely hanging in there. Good grenade by the Rangers. Again, we have also British artillery. Stern Pioneers desperately trying to hold that front, but I think they've lost this simply because of the fact that the British outranged them. Even without cover, they had such a high attack power. They could easily move up here and just out DPS them, so he'll have to pull back. Now, he does have an MG, although these guys would have such a high attack power they could overwhelm them, but the Opel Blitz truck should heal. So we'll see what happens. Good Stuka bomb, unfortunately, just doesn't get a lot of kills. It did do damage. It did hurt that fortification. When it's built, it will be under sustained fire and most likely will be in a more damaged state. Stern Pioneers coming on in, trying to stop them from making it, but it's too little too late. The Beaufort will be made, but a quarter health has been reduced from the Stuka hit. Stern Pioneers coming on in, they're just burning away the mortar. Again, such high attack power that it's hard to fight, though I will say they are so deep in enemy territory, it will be hard to keep these units alive during retreat paths. Again, they have to make sure nothing's in their way, but they're so deep that might be a little bit harder to do. The flamethrowers are burning away the mortar emplacement. This thing is a goner. Now it's 400 manpower gone by Delta. So again, that's a huge loss for him in terms of manpower. He does have the Beaufort. He did increase their defensive emplacement ability by giving it more armor. But even with the increased durability, the simple Verkehrwerfer is just slowly wearing it down, meaning the Brit infantry needs to come up and help it out real quick. Meanwhile, 151 is desperately trying to hold this point, but the mortar fire coming in just knocks it out. Again, we have the mortar half-track right here, 10 kills, very nice to see. And as well, we have, where is it? I swear I thought there was additional sport guns or something firing at that, but I could be blind. Manolo. Never mind, I guess it was not there. I guess it's just mortar half-track. So good job there. Grenadiers trying to advance, but a little too much for it. He does end up losing the unit. Spartycus, unfortunately, taking a lot of casualties, but 151 as well has taken quite a few. He has to pull back his men before losing that squad. Meanwhile, GTA is taking mid. He's had a few casualties too, but overall he's been doing pretty damn well. He's lost a lot of his forward emplacements, but still not too bad. We have again, we have the smoke coming down, so the MG can't be effective against the Rangers, limiting the capabilities, and the Penn's Grenadiers are going to have to fall back because they can't fight these guys with Thompsons. Bundle Grenade is the last option. Decent Bundle Grenade does health damage, not a lot of model damage, but looks like the flak half-track will be enough to push that sucker back. Good job getting out of the building. These guys could get inside, but I doubt they'll survive long with the flag emplacement and Sturms right there doing damage. We have artillery coming in. I believe that's the British base. That is. We have the British artillery, I believe, firing in this sector. It is. Shock troops running on in, but the MG will suppress. Again, he's doing 4 Mother Russia to increase their attack power, but he did throw a smoke, so the MG will be less effective, and they'll be able to move around a lot quicker and a lot sooner. Meanwhile, GTA's forces are taking mid. Again, Allied forces have taken a lot of VP losses during the course of the 15 minutes of this game so far, but the Axis are not too far behind. I mean, it's double the amount, but that can go by very quickly, so good job there. Stern Pioneers once again coming in. I love this guy's flamethrower tactics, though I will say his manpower is something to be desired. It's very low, and I feel like they should have a lot more. Unfortunately, the MG had to pull back due to artillery. He had to pull back his Oba Blitz truck. He has lost his support gun. That is something definite. As we can see, it's right here. I think what Manolo needs is a double Verkedmorpher for armor. I feel like the Allies are very close to getting more aggressive with armor pushes, especially with the American player most likely saving up for a Pershing. 151 is about to deploy KV-1, something with very, very good armor. And as well, we have Delta, who possibly could be building a Churchill. He hasn't gotten the upgrades yet, but I have a sneaking suspicion he will. Artillery's coming in, getting a decent hit on the British infantry. Getting in that building would help, but again, the fortification would do a lot of damage to him, so I'll always have to worry. Plus, a good Stuka in this thin corridor right here could do a lot. Now, luckily, the MGs back here, by rather splendid, is suppressing the infantry, forcing them back. British artillery is coming down this sector, though not really near anything except for the support gun, so he should be relatively fine. Panzer IV holding this sector. AT gun, though, is lying in wait along with the KV-1. I think, for the most part, the Allies should be able to hold their northern point. I don't think they'll hold the star. I think there's enough German forces and support equipment. They'll probably beat that out. Now, the question is, will the KV-1 be able to beat the Panzer IV? And I'm not seeing much that the Allies or the Axis can really do to stop it. Mortar. Okay, never mind. They have a mortar coming in. And also armor-piercing rounds. Good use of that. Again, it may not do much, but it is something additional. Now, it is low on health. You do want to retreat that. It is a good support, but we have a Panzerstrike force coming on in, trying to help on out, pushing back the KV-1. And overall, that's more of a draw. Shock troops, though, coming in. With 4 Mother Russia active, there's no way those troops will be stopped unless additional forces come on in like that NG. But since it retreated, unless that Panzer IV gets lucky, I think these guys are pretty golden at taking out a lot of the Axis players. Again, increases attack power and movement speed. I know they're decreasing the movement speed now, but under a fire, but they're still doing rather well. Now, we do have this thing here. The Flame Hetzer should do quite a bit of damage to the shock troops. But as we can see here, they're moving around. We do have the British artillery coming on in. I think they're doing counter barrage, which is why. Shock troops making their way back to their line. KV-1 was quickly healed by the double engineer, and now back up. This guy, unfortunately, not able to heal his men fast enough, and as in a full retreat mode, meaning the right-hand side is falling apart. I expected more AT. I was hoping for more AT, but Spartycus did not have that. He's nowhere close to a Tiger, and he doesn't have the base for an AT gun, so that KV-1 will be a hell of a hassle for him to engage. But that doesn't mean he's out of the woods yet. He can always rely on one of his allies to bring in armor and help out. Remember that his ally has the ability to build a Pak-43, which, if placed, let's say here, could fire through buildings and easily curb stomp that KV, which I hope they do, but we shall see. Stern Pioneers once again going above and beyond, but alas, once again, armor is starting to play a part in pushing these guys back. Verkedmorpher would be very helpful, I think, at counteracting that. So he already has support guns for artillery coverage. He has flame coverage. I think he just needs more substantial AT. Fire grenade going off, but he's going to brace it. Not going to do that much on its own. He needed a little bit more support, but we will see. I think he'll do fine. I think he'll do pretty well. But once again, I think Delta's just lying in wait, and then he'll pounce once he gets what he wants. And I think what he wants is going to be more substantial armor like a Churchill. Until that moment, I think he's going to be playing defense. Now, resource-wise, the Allies aren't doing as well as I thought they were against the Axis. The Axis actually have more fuel and munitions than the Allies. Now, the Allies, once they get this, will definitely help and will overwhelm the Axis because of their cash, but fuel-wise, still, it's anyone's game. The Allies have put down a fuel point, which is helping them out. So, very nice to see. Or say the Axis, sorry. We'll see. Oh my god, Panzer IV just neutralizes, got neutralized by a B4. Great shot by 151. That greatly reduces the AT in the area. Close range B4 as well, almost guaranteeing a direct hit. But you still have to believe in the B4 to confirm that. We have Panzer Grenadiers moving on in to attack. We have a Stuka strike coming in, getting a great shot, once again with artillery. Support guns might hit the half-track if it doesn't retreat soon. Yeah, good job by Rather Splendid with the Stuka. Definitely needed that because right now, I think with 151's KV-1 advancing, they're going to need all the help they can get to push that sucker back. Luckily, the Panzerschreck 4 should be enough, plus the Panzerfaust to at least cause 151 to pull back for safety reasons. I don't think it's because he necessarily will lose the fight. I think he just would rather be cautious in his advance. Now, Axis forces still hold control of the Star, and they're still putting pressure on the the overall Allied forces. Though 151 does have a substantial army backed by heavy artillery that will be doing a lot of damage. Unfortunately, the arc there just wasn't very good, and he did lose quite a bit. Volkssquad's advancing. I don't think that's the best idea. Once again, I think advancing with armor would be better, as I think the British infantry will pretty much suppress you and then probably push back up very quickly. I think playing defense around here, or at least maybe just hiding, lying in wait for an ambush, would have been far superior to that, especially with support guns. And like I said, I feel like we have a Stuka, we have a ton of infantry, but we have no armor by Rather Splendid yet. Spartycus, again, his armor was neutralized, but the biggest person I see here losing it is Manolo. I do not understand why. He has 2,500 manpower. He's a 3-level prestige. He's played this game a lot, but he has 2,500 manpower. I do not understand. I mean, we know he doesn't have a mechanized building, so he can't get a king. I'm assuming he's saving it for a Panther, but he's yet to deploy it. I think a Panther would be very good against the KV-1. I think that's the AT they need. Oh my god. And now he lost two of his awesome Sturm Pioneers. Instead, he gets a building. I'm assuming what he's doing is saving up for a king, which once again, that would be only a quarter at this point of his manpower. I think, once again, he needs to use it on something else. Artillery's coming in. Hot damn. That's a lot of forces that just went, well, bye. That's the precision bomb strike for you. Precision barrage. It is incredibly powerful and knocked out the flak. Now he is getting additional Sturms and has more than enough munitions to call that stuff in. Manolo also has a direct strike as well, which he could use against the B4. And in case you're wondering, what about recon? You could also ask Spartycus to save up. 151 has no AA, so that would be an easy kill. A half-track, unfortunately, did beat its maker, and that B4 is now up to Vet 2 after killing all the Sturms, so things are not looking great. Though with the B4 artillery, it did allow for the Flamehetzer to get view over this point, which will allow them to actually be better protecting it against the Allied incursion, at least until the B4 fires and maybe kills it. Big push on left. Unfortunately, the MG is going to bite it. Once again, I feel like Rather Splendid is doing everything he possibly can. I feel like he's also doing a thing where he's saving up for a king, which again, we have 2 people saving up for a King Tiger. We have 1 person saving up for a lot. Again, I don't know what he's saving up for, but he has 2,000 manpower on standby, and I think he needs a bigger army. If he had a bigger army, I think GTA would be pulled back, but right now, he has no AT, and there's a Pershing rolling on in. So this is kind of you had the lead, but alas, you're not using it to its full value because unfortunately you're not getting the right equipment for it. Now I'm just gonna make the assumption, and it did. Yeah, the B4 killed the Flamehetzer, What a surprise. But, yeah, my brother is a avid believer of the B4. Make sure, again, if you use the B4, you believe in it, and it will help. Now, it looks like the direct Stuka bombs barrage, along with the Stuka itself, did quite a bit of damage. However, only 11 kills so far. Not a lot high kill rate. Meanwhile, there's nothing stopping the Pershing from moving on in. No armor, no nothing. These guys have really dropped the ball in terms of their armor, and it is downright sad to see because, again, I think a Pershing could easily hold back that unit. Although, thank Spartycus for coming in to try to support. Though the Pershing is just going to use its speed along with the Ranger coverage to get out of there just fine and possibly murder some Panzer Grenadiers. Meanwhile, 151 is continuing his push, and he has really nothing stopping him now, as Spartycus had to focus in mid, and he's versing a bunch of Rangers. He's trying desperately to help, and remember, he currently has the first Panther on the field, even though his two teammates could honestly get additional forces. I am still just dumbfounded by what this guy's going. He's just going Stern Pioneers, and while they're incredibly effective, he needs a T. He needs at least this gentleman, by the way, good grenade on 151's part, it has some sort of AT with his Stern Pioneers and Briquette Morphers and whatnot. But, oh, can he kill the shock troops? That's the question. KV-1 gets hit by a mine. Stuka comes in, causes damage to the B4 and the MG, but they're still alive. Panther coming in, most likely to end that KV. There is an AT gun here, which can provide coverage, though I'm curious to see if it can hit from the debris and stuff like that, kind of blocking it. AT gun is providing coverage. KV-1 barely alive. Front armor should possibly deflect some of those shots as they are weaker. Panther, though, pulling back, though gets hit with the B4. Expertly done by 151. Who believes, once again, in the B4, allowing the shot to connect. Every single shot he has fired this game has been almost on point. I would say there's a few that have been barely off, but yeah, that's a huge loss for the Axis. We have another Stuka being made by Bonolo, which, again, he already has one. These guys are now artillery spamming, and they're going to lose because for some reason, I don't understand why, they are not going armor. Manolo is wasting all of his fuel on the Stukas, which, again, can't hold a candle to a Churchill or a Pershing. Meanwhile, we have Rather Splendid with a King Tiger, but is 27 minutes into the game. I don't think this will win it for him, but this is what he's saving up for, so hopefully this is what he can use. Honestly, I think Rather Splendid would have been better off if building a Pack 43. I know we saw the direct strike earlier, but using it in a very defensible position with a large coverage area should allow no infantry to see it directly for a direct strike. Plus, with the AA coverage, Recon should be knocked out in time, though there's always that risk. But again, a quick reaction time with anti-air on the Schwer headquarters or the flak, activating that stuff will definitely help. Stuka firing, but again, KV gets a great shot. That Artie can please stop. I am gonna just say it hit his base or something. Very important. Stuka, I don't understand why moved up here. They're trying to kill the B4. They killed all my brother's engineers and the MG, so that was actually a really great hit on Manolo's part. Again, I mean, there's a reason my brother loves using it. A lot of fun to fire. That's a fair point. Spartycus is down. He's building up Panzerwerfer, so I don't know if he knows that they knocked it out, but he's building that. Again, I feel like the biggest issue right now he has is this. I know the B4 killed his Panther, but as long as he kept moving it back and forth, not in a straight vertical line, but side to side, the B4 has a harder time locking. I hear the King. We have a King Tiger now on left, versing a Pershing and a Churchill. It's going to try its best to win that fight. I don't think it will. I think it's going to have a lot of trouble versing the Pershing. We have an airstrike coming in. Frag bomb, most likely. Again, not much of a target. Oh, sorry, Stuka bomb strike. Or Stuka barrage, I should say. I thought it was a frag bomb. But alas, he just dodged it. Recon's going out, allowing for the B4 to get, well, up. Yep, they killed it with AA. Again, I think he's going too deep for it. If the B4's there, use artillery, neutralize it, and or, which again, I'm not saying that artillery is bad, but getting 4 Stukas or artillery pieces in no frontline armor is a bad idea. King Tiger pulling on back, using its MG and main gun to just slowly kill that Royal Engineer squad. Again, right now, the Allies still have some catching up to do in terms of VP points, but they have all 3 command stars, so they will catch that. They'll catch up very quickly. Meanwhile, again, each faction or each side has their own heavy tank and also special units like the B4, the Ranger, or even like the British infantry with Bren's. Although they have the mortar pit in the back, so whatever. They each have like really specialized infantry and stuff like that help hold each of their fronts against any major target. Stuka coming down, but kind of not really hitting, although Manolo is really focusing on that, even though I don't understand. He is not really helping. Now he's helping his team, but he, like, I find it so weird that he's focusing on all this artillery. Anyway, Ranger's coming in, doing a lot of damage to the Stuka. Might be able to kill it before it escapes. Alas, the Stuka manages to escape. There are Pioneers coming in, but they won't hold a candle to the Ranger squads. Meanwhile, once again, Churchill coming on in, gets the kill of the Stuka, which was the Vet 2-1 by Rather Splendid. He does have his own artillery piece in the back, which is, I'm assuming, yep, hitting the base over here and trying to kill some of the infantry. This thing needs healed immediately. Churchill coming on in to try to engage. Churchill doesn't need to pierce, it just needs to stay in the fight. Eventually, it can take enough damage for it to pierce or even outrun the Tiger in this case and get behind it for a rear shot. We also have a Pershing coming in, so we have a massive fight going on. Zeroing could be called in, but I think that was be a little too late. It is coming down, but again, they're going to see the zone of effect, and they're going to move out of it. Churchill should be close. I think it may not kill it before missing. Churchill just not enough. I think the Pershing additional shot would, though I don't think it's going to move in now because of all the AT infantry. Meanwhile, 151 is still securely holding this sector, though taking a lot of arty hits. I feel like he got this T-34, not really for frontline engagements, but for a deep strike. I think what he's going to do as prioritizing vehicles, he's going to move that in to try to hit those Stukas. We will see how that works. Plane being shot down, most likely Soviet in nature. T-34 running over the Panzer Grenadiers, getting a target on the Stuka, getting one. One has been neutralized. Can he get the second one? That is the question. The second one is open out of the smoke. Maybe it's still in the smoke. Nope, he got it. Target has been hit. We also have a King that's currently in a perfect position. Going in for the ram. Gets the ram on it. Target. Alas, I don't see any additional strikes coming in from any other allied players. It's just a little more damage to cause to the King to keep it from the front line and helping out. Luckily, Germans now have AA, but once again, this guy is 2,000 manpower, and I do not understand why he didn't get AT for Kenwerfers, additional MGs, like stuff, just base stuff. We have a Stuka barrage coming on in. Allies, dude, you have 2,000 manpower that you're not using. They're not OP. Yeah, no. Absolutely not. Yeah, I would actually deny that 151. Like, it's always interesting when you win a game to know why you win it. Because, again, 151, yeah, you can absolutely say the B4 helped them a ton in this victory. However, what I will say is, honestly, yeah, I will say that early game they had it, but I think Manolo is actually the weak link. If he would have got additional AT to hold back a lot of the armor, to help clear his front, to hold a lot of key areas, and honestly, the German players should have been able to keep the pressure on my brother instead of being playing more defensive. That was Art made the game, LOL. It was a beast. Yes, B4 is a beast, but unfortunately, Spartycus, while it is very, very powerful, and Manolo seems to have a grudge for it, even though he never really fought it, I feel like you guys lost because of two main reasons. A bad teammate. I believe Manolo is a very bad teammate. He didn't get anything to help. And I think, being a Panther or additional armor would have helped. Again, there's a lot of AT here, which is why in the B4 we trust. Very nice. Oh, last shot. It's about to connect with the Pershing. But in any case, damage-wise, Spartycus did the most damage in kills. Rather Splendid, close second. And again, I will point this out to Rather Splendid and Manolo both not getting armor out sooner. That allowed, or Manolo not getting AT. That allowed the allies to counterattack. On the flip side, Manolo's lack of deploying units and holding on to manpower was a huge factor in why the allies were able to gain so much territory and control and have more leverage. Even though Manolo had some good strikes, I just think he needed to back it up, which he never did. If he would have brought more support guns, MGs, AT guns, etc., more just support just to help his Stern Pioneer pushes, it really would have helped him and helped change the game. Meanwhile, 151 got most damage again and kills. If I had to give it up, I would say the KV-1 was probably it. Next, oh, never mind. It was the B4. Of course, believe in the B4. Close to 6,000 damage. Very nice to see. Shock Troops also getting a high kill count, so very cool indeed. Any case, sometimes it's commanders, but a lot of times it can be teammates. And Manolo, I'm sorry, but you disappointed your team. Spartycus and Rather Splendid did very well, and I would say the same thing. If I had to say overall, I would say 151 did a good, very good job with the B4 and knocking out stuff with the KV as well, playing defense. This thing had 19 kills, very good. GTA was very supportive with helping out 151 and Delta multiple times. I feel like Delta had the most problems, but overall he still stuck around and did very well toward the later half. Though again, his side is the one that is currently open and he had to fall back on. So I will say he was probably the weakest player on the Allied side. Zamidio was a bad player. He was just the weakest player because the Axis just focused a little more on him rather than the this sector for fear of GTA's Pershing and Rangers. But in any case, guys, once again, that is it. Thank you for watching. This has been Greyshot17. I'll see you guys next time. Hello, everyone. This is Greyshot17. And before you go, I want to give a special shout out to Patreon supporters Joey G, Josh, Mustaach, Milam, Ace, Aldo Lopez, Chris Bailey, Folkvard, jrchicklis, Ali, Pyroshark, Rilfe, Streakingwookie, GTA, Jakub and Spartycus, with the remaining Patreons down below as well. And thank you so very much to each and every one of you for your amazing support. It's just been Greyshot17 and his amazing patrons, and I'll see you guys next time.